Hello everyone, welcome to the daily news analysis of NEXT IAS. This is Varun. Today we will discuss 5 important articles from 2 newspapers, The Hindu and Indian Express. First 4 articles will be regarding our prelims, that is explained section. First article is about civil defense drill. Then further we will discuss about CBI Director Appointment, and then we will discuss about voter eligibility. After that we will further discuss about ADB, that is Asian Development Bank. In our decoded main section we will discuss about AI as normal technology. So let us start our discussion with first topic. So we will discuss our first article, which is related to civil defense drill. So this has come into backdrop of Home Ministry has directed states to conduct civil defense drill. This has come into both newspaper, Indian Express as well as the Hindu. The context of this particular article is very important because of internal security situation which is emerging in JNK right now in the wake of Pahalgam terror attack. So that's why government is trying to have some action, because these type of any incidents definitely require particular action from a government, and that's why in this context also government is trying to understand which type of problem can emerge, and that's why we have to be aware. And in that context you have to understand that government has announced this civil defense drill. But for UPSC aspirant, not only this news is important, rather the background of these things are very much important, because the question will come on those things. So it is important for GS3 internal security paper. Then let us try to understand what the news says itself about. So the news is about the Union Home Ministry has asked the states to conduct drills up to the village level in 244 categorized districts, and there is a SOP being issued, and objective is first, effectiveness of air raid warning system, whether the air raid warning system which is available, that helps the civilian to understand the problem, whether it is available or not. That's why it is being given. Then operationalization of hotline or radio communication. These are very important communication channels for a country during, especially either it is under attack, like non-state actors is attacking, or some external actors like some other countries is attacking. So for that this communication link is very important. Similarly, functionality of control rooms. We have seen during COVID-19 these control rooms were optionalized, and it played a very crucial role to control COVID. Similarly, during crisis situation, control rooms are very important. They play a crucial role to let everything happen in a planned manner. There is also provisions for training of civilians and students, because they are also forming a part of most important part of any state, any country, and they are those who are vulnerable. So a basic training will help them to navigate the situation. Similarly, provision of crash blackout measure is also there. Beside it, focusing on vital plants and installation. Then there is also provision to verify activation and response of civil defense services. Further, it also assess the implementation of crash blackout measures. Then it also focus on preparedness of evacuation plans and execution. So these all things are being focused here, particularly for this civil defense drill. Let us try to understand something, that who participate in this particular thing. So 4 lakh volunteers will be associated with DG civil defense, and they also include some NCC, some college student, school students, Nehru Yuva Kendra Sangathan members. So all these will participate in this particular exercise. Further, what is the history of civil defense in India? Why we need to understand this history? Because being a UPSC aspirant, you should know about the history, the legal provisions. This is the area where UPSC is going to ask the question. UPSC is not interested into the politics behind it, rather the legal provisions, the historical background. So that's why. So first civil defense in India was established in 1941. That is during colonial period itself. Further, it gained momentum post-independence, and particularly during 1962 Indo-China War and 1965 Indo-Pak conflict. That led to the situation that India should have some type of civil defense also in the context of those two wars. Besides it, it also got legal status. The Parliament has enacted a law that is known as Civil Defence Act 1968, and that provides legal status and a framework for civil defense operation. Legal status is very much required, because that provides that who is responsible for what and who has the authority to issue directives, guidelines. So that's why it is very important. It focused mainly initial days war-related threats, but over the period of time it evolved. Like earlier we have mentioned that it was also helping during COVID-19. So who is responsible for this? Which department and ministry? DG of Civil Defense, that is Directorate General of Civil Defense under Ministry of Home Affairs, is responsible for this particular civil defense drill. Beside it, let us through a practice question try to understand which type of question can come on this particular topic. With reference to civil defense in India, consider the following statement. The recent directive from the Union Home Ministry mandates civil defense drills up to the village level in all districts of the country. The Civil Defense Act 1968 originally focused on disaster management but was later expanded to include war-related threats. Volunteers from NCC, NYKS, school college students are being included in the upcoming civil defense exercise. Civil defense in India was first institutionalized during World War II and gained momentum post-independence during natural conflict. Which of the following statements given above are correct? So this is our humble request. Kindly mark your answer in our comment section and your PS will definitely review. These type of questions, when you practice, it helps you to achieve an aptitude which is regarding prelims examination. That's why at the end of each topic we give a practice question. Our next topic is regarding CBI Director Appointment. So this has come into the backdrop in the Hindu newspaper. This article has come and it says CBI Director Praveen Sood likely to get 1 year extension. Now, the name of the director, these things are not being asked by UPSC. Main thing is the legal provisions, the issues, challenges regarding CBI Director Appointment, CBI as an institution itself, that will be asked by UPSC either in prelims examination or in mains examination. It is important for in mains examination GS2 paper, statutory bodies. So the news has given some basic information and context. Let us try to understand it. So the meeting comes ahead of the 2-year term of incumbent CBI director. On 25th of this month, this has happened. There is a meeting of selection committee which has happened and they have provided extension. Now, the appointment of CBI director is done by central government. So that's a fact. And it is done on the recommendation of a 3-member committee. You can see here it is 3-member committee which recommends, headed by Prime Minister, comprises of Leader of Opposition and Chief Justice of India. Beside it, appointment of CBI Director has also some legal provisions. So let us try to understand this. First, the act which is regarding to it is Delhi Special Police Establishment Act 1946. But this only provides legal backing. It does not make CBI a statutory body. Always remember, CBI is not a statutory body. Legal foundation is provided by this particular act and appointment of CBI director. You should remember, legal foundation is by this DSPE Act, whereas appointment is provided by the Section 4A of the Lokpal and Lokayuks Act 2013. This act has introduced what? High powered selection committee. We have seen that there is a committee which comprises of Prime Minister, which comprises of Leader of Opposition and Chief Justice of India. Why? To provide appointment to insulate the agency from political interference, because CBI will be engaged in various investigations, particularly regarding to corruption, bribery. So those many a times have tendency that they can influence. That's why it need to insulate it from political interference in its working especially. Now, the composition of committee, we have seen that it is given by Section 4A. It says that Prime Minister should be there, Chief Justice should be there, but Chief Justice also, there is a provision that if Chief Justice has willingness, he or she can also nominate other Supreme Court judge for himself or herself. And whenever Prime Minister is member, Prime Minister is chairperson of the particular committee. Besides, there is Leader of Opposition also. If there is no Leader of Opposition, then Leader of largest opposition party will be considered as a member. So that is also a provision. Let us try to understand what is the appointment procedure of CBI Director. So what will happen? DOPT, initially DOPT, first step will be they will impanel various officers. So they will make a broader list like 10 officers, 20 officers. Then those officers will be reviewed by a committee and that committee will shortlist For example, 2, 3, they will be shortlisted on the basis of their records, the records of service, their abilities, their skills they have gained over the period of time. And then selection committee is there, and selection committee will finally give the approve which candidate is best out of that list, and further it is approved by appointments cabinet committee, and then formal appointment is being done. So this is the procedure of CBI director appointment. Now there we should also know about some other facts like tenure and removal of the director. So tenure is provided under the DSPE Act, and it is fixed term of 2 years. Always remember, it is fixed term. Beside that, CVC Act is also providing fixed tenure of CBI director at 2 years. Then Supreme Court also in Prakash Singh case in 2006 has said this and upheld the fixed tenure concept to prevent arbitrary removal. Now about the removal, section 4B of DSPE Act also says something. What it says? CBI director cannot be removed before the expiry of tenure except on the recommendation of some high powered committee. So this has also been said in the Alok Verma case. The Honorable Supreme Court has delivered a verdict in Alok Verma case and said the term is fixed, but there can be some exception, and that exception should be given by the high powered committee which has selected the director. So that committee will decide whether to remove or not before the expiry of term. It is only due to avoid political interference. Then there is two important case. One already we have seen, the Alok Verma case. Another is Vineet Narayan case, which was in 1997, in which Honorable Supreme Court has delivered a verdict about the CBI. So it emphasized the autonomy of the CBI in that particular case, that CBI should be provided autonomy in its working, in its functioning. Otherwise, it will not be impartial or neutral, and that is very much important. It laid down that CBI director should have a minimum tenure of 2 years. From here, the tenure, fixed tenure is coming up, irrespective of the date of superannuation. Now, what is meaning of this? It means, for example, someone is appointed at the age of 59.5 years. Okay. Now, the person will retire after 6 years, so after 6 months. But Supreme Court has said that they have to complete 2 years. That the person will, their service will extend till 61.5 years. This is what the meaning of this concept is. Now, in Alok Verma case also, it said that any removal or transfer of CBI director must be approved by the high powered selection committee. Also, no officer with less than 6 months tenure remaining can be considered for the post of CBI. So it is not like that it is post retirement job. That's why if the list of impaneled officers which is being prepared initially by DPOPT will not recommend any officer who has less than 6 months. Besides it, it also said that arbitrary action by the executive is not permissible. Then beside it, let us also try to understand some of fact regarding CBI, because in 2021 there was a question also, and in 2019 also there was a question directly asked about the basic facts about speaker. So we sometimes should prepare ourselves also for the mains examination. Even in prelims examination, factual things can be asked. So let us try to understand something about CBI. So it is Premier Investigative Agency. It is investigative agency of India. It was established in 1963 under the recommendation of which committee? Santhanam committee. And it evolved from the special police establishment which was created in 1941 during British rule to investigate bribery and corruption. CBI is not a statutory body. One should remember, we have already discussed, it is not a statutory body. It derives its power of investigation from Delhi Special Police Establishment Act 1946. The Act empowers the CBI to investigate certain specified offences and allow its function across India with the consent of the state government. So there is also something very interesting thing, and that is also a cause of problem between center and state. It is also impacting federalism in the context of India. That is about the consent, because CBI does not have proper legal statutory effect. So many a times there is an issue of tussle between center and state regarding consent. So let us try to understand that thing also. So there are two types of consent, general and specific. in general what will happen, blanket approval for all cases will be done by the state governments. Many states have withdrawn, like West Bengal has withdrawn, Kerala has withdrawn, whereas specific consent is given on case to case basis. If there is a case and CBI will apply for it for the state, if the state is thinking that it is appropriate for CBI to investigate, they will provide the consent. CBI functions under the Ministry of PPGP, that is Personal Public Grievances and Pension. For investigation under the PCA, that is Prevention of Corruption Act 1988, for this particular act, under this context, superintendence of CBI is under CVC. Then CVC will be the body which will be supervising CBI. CBI also acts as nodal agency for Interpol. And here this is the logo of CBI. You can see industry, impartiality, integrity. That is the motto. And you can utilize this thing for introduction in ethics paper, for conclusion in ethics paper, even essay you can mention this thing. That will give you extra edge, that will attract the attention of evaluator. Now through a practice question, let us try to understand which type of question can come on this. With reference to CBI and the appointment of its director, consider the following statement. The CBI is a statutory body that derives its power from the Lokpal and Lokayukt Act 2013. The director of CBI is appointed by a committee comprising the Prime Minister, Chief Justice of India or his nominee, and the leader of opposition in Lok Sabha. Always remember, there is Lok Sabha or Rajya Sabha. This can be twisted by UPSC and you will feel confusion in the examination hall. That's why focus on these things. The director of CBI can be transferred before completion of tenure only with the consent of the same high-powered selection committee. The CBI functions under the MHA and requires general consent from states for investigation within the territory. Which of the statements given above are correct? So, this is our humble request. Please mark your correct answer in our comment section. Your peers will review. Next article is regarding voter eligibility. So, this article has come into the backdrop of some deported to Pak say they are Indian voters. Who gets a voter ID and how? So, this is relevant for our mains examination in GS2 paper, elections in India. In prelims examination, a lot of facts is there, a lot of rules is there which can be asked by UPSC. So, let us try to learn those things. So, the article says that various rules regarding voter IDs are like Article 326 of the Constitution itself provides some constitutional backing to right to vote. Every Indian citizen, every and citizen, two keywords are there, then aged 18 years or above has the right to vote in elections to Lok Sabha and state or UT assembly. So, here only citizens are provided the right. Then section 16 of the RPA 1950, which is being implemented and which is being legislated by our parliament, says that it deals with the disqualification for registration in the electoral roll. And there are conditions that disqualification will happen if a person is not a citizen of India. So, if a foreigner is there, they will not get the voter ID card. Of unsound mind and stands so declared by a competent court. So, this is the condition which is written in the law itself. For time being, disqualified from voting under the provision of any law relating to corrupt practice and other offences in connection with election. So, election, the provisions for election is also there, and in which there is a law which provides the disqualification is also being done if there are some corrupt practices, if there are use of unfair means. If that is happening, then again the person can be disqualified and their right to vote will be forfeited. Beside this, there is a Form 6 which Election Commission provide for registration of new electors, and in that the applicant is required to provide self-attested copy of age proof, address proof, as well as there is no requirement for providing something like citizenship proof, but the Election Commission takes a declaration from the person, and if the declaration is false, then what will happen? The particular person will face a action under section 31 of the RPA Act. RPA 1950 provides penal provisions also if you are declaring yourself as a citizen, but that is a false information. Why this provision is there? Because if this provision is there that everyone should also come up with their citizenship proof, that will become a lot of cumbersome process. Many will not be interested to register itself as a voter. So that's why the government has made it self-declaration. If the self-declaration is false, then there is process. Through that process, the person will be penalized. Booth level officers are also appointed by ERO, and who are ERO? Electoral registration officers, and they collect the claims and objections on behalf of the ERO. Beside it, let us try to understand how is citizenship determined, particularly in the context of this right to vote. So what happens according to ECI's manual on electoral laws, they have provided a manual. ERO is responsible for making sure that no ineligible person is added to the electoral roll. That's why they cross-check it, they verify it. Complete mechanism is there. ERO must consider all evidence the person concerned may tender. Also, if there is no objection, then they will issue. If there is objection, they will withhold it, and further something will be provided. There is provision for appeal against the decision of the ERO. In the case of married women who have changed their address as a result of marriage, ERO can rely on proof of being registered as a voter as a unmarried woman. So these are the basic provisions which are already there. Beside it, there are some cases where non-citizens are also getting voter ID. So in this context, what Election Commission do? They have a mechanism in which they will be able to identify whether that person is foreigner or not. And if the voter ID is being made by or they are making it through some fraud, so that will be forfeited, as well as some penal action will be taken under the RPA Act. Those provisions are there. So let us through a practice question try to understand which type of question can come on this particular topic. For election to the Lok Sabha, a nomination paper can be filed. This has come into 2017. Anyone residing in India, a resident of the constituency from which the election is to be contested, any citizen of India whose name appears in the electoral roll of a constituency, any citizen of India. So this is our humble request. Please mark your correct answer in our comment section. Your PS will review. Our next topic is about Asian Development Bank. So this has come into Indian Express newspaper, and the article headline is India offers opportunities for ADB to pilot innovative products and models. The relevance of this particular article is in GS2 paper, international organization, but it is also relevant for our GS3 paper in the economy section, where multilateral banks especially support countries in their growth, development. So it is also important. Besides, it is important for prelims examination, where facts regarding ADB, some new initiatives, some reports of ADB can be asked. Now let us try to understand what the news says. So this news says that our Honorable Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman attended the 58th annual meeting of the ADB, which was held in Milan, Italy. And there she has also some bilateral meetings with the chairperson, president, and other, like Italy's finance minister was also there. So they have bilateral meeting. In this context, this article has come. Now our basic focus should be in this particular discussion about ADB, that is Asian Development Bank. So it is a regional and multilateral development bank. Two things is there. It is regional and it is multilateral. It was established for what purpose? Promote social and economic development, and where? In Asia and Pacific region. This is how you have to break down things, and that will help to internalize the facts. You don't need to always remember or mug up the facts, rather break down the facts, and that will make some logic, and you will be able to internalize and be ready for the prelims exam. It was established in 19 December 1966. Then its headquarters is in Manila. Membership is 69 countries at present. This is the latest data which is from the website of ADB. 50 are from within Asia, Pacific, and 19 from outside. So for example, UPSC can frame a question that only members are from Asia Pacific, but we can see 19 are from outside. India is founding member of the ADB, and largest shareholders are Japan, United States. So they are the largest shareholder in this particular ADB. Japan and US has 12.75% voting rights. China is third and India is fourth. India has 5.34% only, and fifth is Australia. The organizational structure understand is important. So what here happening is each member is appointing one governor. For example, India is a member, so India will appoint a governor. Then that governor will form board of governors. Collectively, governors will form board of governors, and they are highest decision making body. This is how the overall structure is there at hierarchy. Board of directors is also there, and 12 members elected by the board of governors. So these board of directors are elected by board of governors for day-to-day administration and function. That's why it is needed. Then there is president also, and the president is chief executive of ADB. After that, let us try to understand something more fact about ADB, that it provides some reports, like IMF is providing some report, World Bank is providing some reports. Similarly, on the same line, ADB is also having some report. First one is Asian Development Outlook, Asian Development Policy Report, Asia Pacific Climate Report. You can see this is very interesting. Asia Pacific Climate Report. People think it is not related to some ADB. It is related to something like UN. UN is there, has some organization, UNFCCC, UNEP. But the fact is ADB is coming up with this report. Then there are some initiatives like Strategy 2030 is there. There are some initiatives regarding climate change, gender inequality, regional cooperation, and strengthening of governance. So these are also the areas where ADB is focusing. Now, there is another similar type of multilateral bank which is recently has come up, and it is also giving a comparative linking with the ADB. So let us try to cover that aspect also. ADB and AIIB, that is Asian Infrastructure and Investment Bank. On various parameters, let us try to understand the difference between two. There is a chance that in the prelims examination, UPSC can twist their features. They can blend and the student will feel confused. So let us try to cover these. Found on the basis of when it was founded, ADB 1966, AIIB 2016. Headquarters, ADB it is in Manila, that is in Philippines, AIIB Beijing, China. Who is the dominant contributor? In the case of ADB it is Japan and US, in the case of AIIB it is China. The voting power, it is in both cases, voting power is based on the capital you are bringing up. It means the share you are providing, you will get the voting power in the terms of percentage. India's role, India in the case of ADB is founding member as well as major borrower. So India takes a lot of loan and money from the ADB. Whereas in case of AIB, founding member, India is founding member but second largest shareholder. So there India is not only a borrower but a proactive shareholder also. Focus of ADB is mostly on social and economic development as well as infrastructure, whereas in case of AIB it is infrastructure mostly. Now through a practice question, let us try to understand which type of question can come. With reference to ADB, consider the following statement. It was established to promote economic and social development in the Asia Pacific region. India is the largest shareholder in ADB. ADB's headquarters is located in Manila, Philippines. Voting rights in ADB are equally distributed among all member countries. Which of the statement given above are correct? So this is our humble request. Kindly mark your answer and your PS will review. Our next topic is related to our mains discussion, which is primarily a broader discussion which is mostly focused on mains examination. So in that context, we are going to discuss AI as normal technology. So this article has come into Indian Express newspaper, and this article is very interesting article because here the author is discussing about the pros as well as positive impact which is going to be created due to AI, and how AI is not a very extraordinary something but it is also a normal technology. Just like electricity, when it was invented, at that time it was thought a very super intelligent or something very remarkable marvel achievement, but over the period of time we humans realize it is a normal technology. Similarly, internet is there. So in that context this is important, and it is very important for our GS3 paper, especially science and tech. So through a previous year's question, first try to understand which type of question or which type of issues can be asked by the UPSC. Introduce the concept of AI, so it is a basic information. How does AI help clinical diagnosis? Here it is application being asked. Do you perceive any threat to privacy of the individual in the use of AI in healthcare? So challenges. So this is how application, challenges, basic understanding about AI is being asked. Now, what the news actually says, first try to understand. So what has happened since the launch of OpenAI? There has been a debate about the nature and use of AI. Many are seeing it as a supremely disruptive technology, and there is two debate here. One is saying that post industrial revolution, how industrial revolution has created impact on global world, same thing will happen with this super intelligent technology. And other debate is this technology, as it is super intelligent, it will become rogue and it will create more harm to humans. Now let us try to understand first thing how AI is a super intelligent technology. So first thing is cognitive speed and processing power, like various tasks, language translation, image recognition, strategic gameplay. Let us try to understand through example. There is a chat GPT and you want to write a letter to your or message to your friend. You just given some prompt and within fraction of seconds AI will give you a very well structured message or letter, whatever you are writing. So this shows the processing capability. Similarly, there is unbounded memory and recall. Why? Because of the enormous data which is being utilized by these LLMs, these AIs to train themselves, and that's why it has a lot of memory and recall. But AI does not forget. That's the issue. There is also ability to self-improve, and that's why the intelligence is basically what? It is ability to self-improve. And machine learning and reinforcement learning is helping AI to achieve this thing. Further, mastery across diverse domains. So it is not only related to particular domain. For example, it is helping humans into chess. Like in chess, Deep Blue AI is able to defeat humans also and go beyond humans. So that's why. Again, there is Go, AlphaGo. It is helping to read DNA of humans in a very less time. Beside that, medical diagnostics also. Recently, AIMS, that is All India Institute of Medical Sciences, has also come up with AI which is helping them to read diagnostic. Then predictive power, like in various sectors, especially climate science, weather forecasting, AI is also proactively supporting and providing its own intelligence to predict the weather or climate in a much better way and with much accuracy. Now, AI, we have seen its super intelligence capacity, but the author says it is also normal technology and it is providing some reasons. Let us try to understand those reasons. So AI is a normal technology and it does not look that different from other technologies. Like, what are the reasons? Claim versus reality. So author says it is mostly the exaggerated nature, exaggerated marketing which has created a perception about AI that it is something very super intelligence or something very special. Rather, in reality, AI is just doing what already we have. For example, already Google was using algorithms to predict things. So it was always there. It does not mean that ChatGPT is the first thing which is doing this. Then learning curve as a constant. So you should understand through this graph that learning curve after some time get plateaued. There is a limitation of learning. After that you cannot go beyond that. So there is limitation in that learning also. Adoption of technology by organization. Why? Because technology is a thing which evolves from day to day, but organization cannot, after each month, after each 6 months, they cannot adopt these things. So that's why it is again challenge. And because of human behavior, there is behavioral element always. So human has also some limitations, some risk averse nature is also there in that context, and that's why it requires and it is becoming a normal technology. Beside it, there is another debate that temporary pause on the development of AI system is required. this debate is also going on, like Elon Musk, Steve Wozniacki, Andrew Yang, Russell Brunson. These people are supporting the argument that AI should be paused, the development of AI should be paused. But the author says whether these interventions will work. First thing the author says, government will have to take draconian measures and curb people digital freedom. Our constitution through Article 21, through Article 19 provide freedom of speech and expression, freedom of liberty. And if government is using these means, so that is contradicting that thing. Beside it, at some point, these non-proliferation attempts will also fail. Why? Because powerful AI systems keep dropping rapidly. It is very easier and right now it is cheaper to create some powerful AI tools, like various tools for PowerPoint presentation and other things are also being developed. So the author says what we should do or what can be done. The article is suggesting 2-3 things. First, focus on enabling adoption rather curbing it by training the workforce or setting some clear standards. There are some particular rules and regulations should be there. To address the risk of AI, we need to address concerns of reliability. So concerns of reliability should also be done. Follow a resilience approach which involves preventing the concentration of power and resources, which will gradually scale up our defenses in proportion as well. So we should not become risk averse. We should be open to adopt this particular technology. Besides, author is also saying that it will take at least 9, 10 years, 20 years to evolve this technology. It is still in nascent stage. In conclusion, we can say that AI is a normal technology which enhances human capability in specific tasks, while super intelligent AI represents a leap beyond human intelligence across all domains. Its future role, whether as a powerful tool or autonomous force, depends on how we guide its development and governance. Now, through a practice question, let us try to understand how to write or how to have a particular understanding about this particular topic. AI is no longer just a tool but a potential super intelligence force that could reshape humanity. Critically examine this statement in the context of evolving role of AI in society. 250 words. For introduction, you can just mention about the debate which is going on for AI, that whether AI is super intelligence or normal. Then in body, first because the keyword is critically examined, so you have to support the argument. For supporting this argument, you can use various dimensions, that in economic dimension, in legal dimension, in geographical dimension, in international arena, all these dimensions, AI is no longer just a tool but a potential super intelligent. Beside it, you also have to provide against, because it is critically examined and this will dominate, and you can again use these dimensions to show that AI is still a potential super intelligence. Okay, and further, because it is a critically examined and 250 words, so you have to give a way forward. And for way forward, very easy thing is you can use these 3 points which we have already covered, and further conclusion you can use this. That will make a good answer and will give you a confidence that how to write answer on such type of topic. So kindly write it and submit in our comment section. Your PS will review. There is some prelims question already come on this topic also we are covering. But with the present state of development, AI can effectively do which of the following? Bring down electricity consumption, create meaningful short stories and songs, disease diagnosis, text to speech conversion, wireless transmission of electrical energy. Select the correct answer using the given code below. So this is our humble request. Kindly mark your answer in our comment section. Your peers will review. If you like our video, please like it, comment on it and share it with your friends. Thank you.